Good evening from PLUGHITZ Studios in Largo, Florida. I'm Scott.
I'm Avram.
And we are here with episode 574 of F5 Live Refreshing Technology for Sunday, September 27th, 2020. This show is a proud part of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. This week, Amazon's flying in your home, Microsoft's expanding its catalog, and Spotify's adding video to its audio. Wherever you are and however you're accessing our show, whether it be on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or Snapchat, through a podcatcher, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, TuneIn, or a myriad of other options, through our live stream platforms, livestream.com, Twitch, Periscope, YouTube, or Facebook, or on our website, PLUGHITZlive.com. Thank you for making us a part of your day. There are two ways you can do that. You can join us live Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern at f5live.tv/join us. There you can chat with us during the show and give your feedback on the topics as we talk about them. Or you can always subscribe at plughitzlive.com/subscribe. There you'll see all of our shows, including F5 Live and the Piltch Point, PLUGHITZ Live Presents, and a whole lot more. And of course, you can find all of the ways to watch or listen. That is the spiel. Avram, how are you doing tonight?
Not too bad. Not too bad. So it's been a week. Some interesting things. I have to set it up over here, but I got the first of my two new monitors.
Nice. That
I've been shopping for. It's actually behind me. A pretty good monitor deal overall, and the quality is pretty good. So I got a 4K monitor that is supposed to do 100% or 99 point something percent of the sRGB gamut, up to 350 nits of brightness. I haven't been able to, I don't have test equipment here to prove that it gets that bright, but it's very bright. And free sync up to either 60 or 75 hertz, 28 inches Lenovo monitor for $265.
Wow.
So a pretty good deal. The Lenovo S28U10, but it's actually been a better deal before. It was on sale at Lenovo at one point over, I think, Labor Day weekend for $220.
Wow.
With free shipping. And you can't get it at Lenovo right now, or last I checked, but I found that Tiger Direct was selling it for $265, and I said that's still a really good deal. Yeah, and no one had done a professional review of it. I found some YouTube videos of it. This really kind of sparked me to say at Tom's Hardware, which many of you know is my day job, that we should see if we can get in more, say, sub $400 4K monitors and try and test them, because there are a lot now, and it's hard to tell what's good because most of those things have not been sent out to review, even ones like this that have been out for probably a year. But it had some really good ratings from readers, and apparently it has the same panel as an Asus monitor and a Samsung monitor of 28 inches that have been reviewed and tested really well. So, but it's a little cheaper and has, in my opinion, nicer design. So I got it, and it's good. So I'll probably get a second one, and then I have to screw in a new monitor arm and all this stuff, which is going to be a pain. And then I'll have two 28-inch monitors like so on my desk, and then two 24s on top of them with my current monitors.
Very nice.
So, and maybe eventually next year, I'll get another two 28s. So I'll get rid of the 24. So I'll just have an even set. We'll have to see how overwhelming it is to have two 24s and two 28s. But the colors seems to be really pretty good, and the brightness and sharpness are pretty good. And for $265, that's pretty good. The
is.
major drawbacks for anyone who is interested in getting this monitor are the stand absolutely sucks, is terrible, is wobbly.
Oh,
But I knew that going in, and it's Visa mountable, so I knew I was going to put it on an arm.
right.
But if you are coming into it not knowing that, you would be disappointed. And it doesn't have a lot of inputs. It only has HDMI and DisplayPort. It doesn't have um
No,
it doesn't
no
have
DVI.
any. No, well, I mean,
Obviously.
I don't really care about, but it only has those two.
Yeah.
You can't, and it doesn't have some of the kind of premium features I would have liked to have had, like picture in picture and picture by picture.
Right.
It doesn't have HDR, even though some of the other monitors that have the same panel have HDR. So it's a trade-off for 265, but pretty nice looking trade-off. I also found on YouTube exactly the video that you should use if you want to test a 4K monitor.
Oh, really?
There is a video, like a world video. Like it just shows you animals from all over the world, snakes and geckos and tigers and stuff, and is in 4K. Actually, it's in 4K 60. So, if you really want to see if you have not nice looking, good color on your monitor, you turn this on and see if the gecko looks really green and the scales of the snake look really green, right?
And at 4K
Or
at
some of the
4K
other
60,
things.
you can also test for motion blur and stuff like that.
Yeah. So it looks good. I think you just search like 4K like 4K demo, and there's on YouTube, and there's it's like world it is called Sony 4K demo Another World.
I am playing the preview on my screen right now. Yeah, I can see how that would be super useful.
Right. So anyway, it's not always easy, or Costa Rica in 4K is not bad either, but Sony 4K demo Another World, I think, was made specifically for this kind of purpose. So
Makes sense.
if you have a 4K TV, if you have a 4K monitor, you can and you get it, and you're like, does this look good? Forget the objective testing of like whether it's color accurate, because I actually don't, and for me personally, don't really care as much about color accurate as does it look good, does it pop, and that's what I look at.
There's a YouTube channel called 4K Demo Channel, and there's a video with the title spelled wrong, which stuck out to me. This minute is spelled with a U.
Spell the title of 4K wrong.
The video is 16 minutes, but the video title says 16 Moonite, which I think are the guys from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Anyway, no, those are the Mooninites. Never mind. Oh my goodness. Well, once you're using it like regularly, I really look forward to hearing what you have to say about it, because I've been considering taking two of my screens and replacing them with 4K. So this monitor is officially on my short list if you've leaned into it.
Try using Facebook on it or whatever. It's just like I have a tendency to just turn, and this is why maybe getting a 20-inch monitor was a bad idea, except I really wanted to have 4K just because it feels like a big upgrade to go from like, what I have now, which is 1080p, up to the highest realistic resolution that most people have, which is 4K.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you can get 8K, but not for anything reasonable. Anyway, yeah, so you try, like, I'm a person who I'm really bad at doing snap with my browser, so I usually have like one per screen. and that's why having 4 monitors is kind of important to me. But so immediately I start putting, just when I was using it, I just start putting it full screen, and it's like, man, there's so much extra white space on all of these all these web pages.
Yeah. I bet with the new Facebook design, it's almost comical.
Yeah. I mean, Google results,
Yeah.
you name it. It's and of course the ultimate decision that folks have to make, and this is somewhat educational for anyone watching or listening, is how do you want the scaling to be? Because if you have 27 or 28 inches and you have 4K, if you run it at 100%, it is going to be kind of hard to read, especially read the icons on the desktop. So in my case, it defaulted to 150% scaling, which means it blows up at least the text 150%. And I thought, hey, I want to fit more on the screen. What happens if I try it at 125? What happens if I try it at 100? And I was trying it at 125 for a while, and it was like, but I can't see. I have to squint.
Yeah. I know somebody who programs with a 4K at 100, and
I'd like to. I'd like to have like a Windows Snap, my 2 4Ks at 100%. I'd like to have as many lines of text on my screen as humanly possible. I just need to have better eyesight.
Yeah. We are bumping up against that human limitation, aren't we?
Yes. We need a better human. The problem is the monitor's too high. The human's not good enough for the monitor is really the problem.
Yeah, that was inevitable at some point, wasn't it?
Yeah.
All right, well, with that, let's get down to some news. This week's Nifty Gifties and F5 Live is proudly powered by the Microsoft Store. Whether you're looking for a new laptop, a tablet, an Xbox, games, or a whole lot more, you can get them at the Microsoft Store. And remember that current students and active military can save up to 10% on almost everything at the store, and you can find out about all of that by going to f5live.tv/Microsoft. So this week, was the continuation of the new tech product parade with Amazon showing off their new stuff. We've already seen Apple. Amazon was this week. Google is coming up this coming week, I think. Amazon has an interesting collection of products. For the most part, it's what you expect, incremental changes on existing products. The Echo devices no longer look like Pringles cans. They now look like little spheres. You've got the new mesh router, which is Wi-Fi 6, which is a welcome addition. But they did have a couple of bonkers products, right, Avram? The one that bothered me, the one that was the weirdest to me, is what they're calling the Ring Always Home Cam. It's a security camera in a drone. And when it detects trouble, it flies to where trouble is. And it follows it. Which is so weird for so many reasons.
What's trouble?
True.
What's trouble?
How
does it know what trouble is?
What's going to trigger it? I don't have all the details on that. But here's my thing. Amazon has had their IoT devices hacked before, which wasn't a huge problem at the time because all we saw was video from people's doorbells. And in particular, it was already Ring. It wasn't Amazon branded product. It was Ring branded product, which this is as well. So there has been trouble with Ring devices having their video accessible. What a perfect target for people who want to cause trouble would a camera that flies around someone's house be? I think it's the ideal. Like, if ever there was catnip for a hacker, this is it.
Yes. So I think I could be wrong, but I think you're underselling the horribleness of the hacks that have happened with Ring, because
True.
it wasn't just the doorbells.
That's true.
There were ones that happened inside the home, because people have in-home Ring security cameras, and there are ones where there's two-way communication. So
The talking to
I've seen
people.
some stories
where the security cameras or the baby monitors or something were talking to people. I had forgotten about that.
This happened with Ring. I'm pretty sure this happened with Ring, and there were some stories about like a 13-year-old boy who was being stalked around his house.
Yeah.
It's not funny, but it's kind of like comical that like he couldn't go to any room of his house without like some crazy person, some crazy stranger talking to him.
Yeah.
Eventually, I think they just managed to unplug all the cameras, but that's madness. So
I had forgotten about that.
Already, like I've been worried for a long time about having cameras in my home. On the one hand, it seems like a good idea for certain things, particularly when you're not home.
Mm-hmm.
And this Ring Always Home, although it's not out yet, so I don't think anyone's actually tested it to say, but it's supposed to only be used when you're not home. And I don't know if there's a mode, if there's any way to use it when you are home, or how it knows that nobody's home. Like, or is it something that you just turn on, like you turn on your burglar alarm when you leave? You turn this on.
Yeah, there's not enough information about the details on this for sure.
And I'm going to assume that it doesn't have two-way communication, but because if it's made to only be used when you're not home, why would it have two-way? Unless it's supposed to talk to the burglar. Unless it's supposed to be like, step away from the house.
Get out.
Get out now. The police have been called. It'd be just be like one of those cars that, I don't know if they still have cars that do this, where if you stand too close to the car, it starts talking to you, starts mouthing off to you.
Oh God, I miss the Viper alarms. I haven't heard about them in years.
There's only one.
They were certainly the popular one. I don't know if more companies did it or not, but Viper was the one that everybody knew. Like that voice that when you think about it, that voice you hear, that was Viper.
Yes. So but it is so bad because absolutely could be used to stalk people. Forget the even stalk. Like if I were wanting to do this for criminal activity, I would do more. That I would do more than I wouldn't think about like revealing myself to someone by actively stalking them, although there are crazy people who do that. I would use it to case the house to see what valuables are there.
Yep.
And to make sure nobody is home.
Yep.
And also I could detect if there's like a dog or something that could bite me or something. I can even see whether the doors are locked. All kinds of helpful information that having fixed security cameras might not give me.
Yeah.
I could get.
Or you could even pick it up and set it down somewhere else, because, once you start getting used to something in your home, you don't pay that much attention to it, right? So you pick it up and you go set it down somewhere else. Yeah, the battery's not going to last forever, but you could keep track of behaviors when people are home and things like that, to look for where they put maybe their jewelry down, stuff like that. There's plenty of
combination on the safe.
There's plenty of ways that a hacker would want to take advantage of this. This just seems like catnip to me.
Yeah, it's really 1984, and people are doing it to themselves.
Uh-huh.
Also, take it from a different angle. people are worried about police, the government, or whatever invading their privacy. Now you're taking all areas of your home and having them potentially recorded.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, this is the next logical step up from having fixed security cameras in rooms, which people have already been doing for a long time, for a while. So I guess this is the next step up. And if you don't care about privacy and you do want to know what's going on in your house, like I kind of get it, especially if you have pets.
Sure.
You might want to see what's going on with your dog or cat.
Sure.
And the drone might better know the drone can follow them all around the house, whereas how many security cameras would you need to make sure that you saw wherever they went?
Right. Or pet cubes. The dog security camera.
Right.
Yeah.
So
this thing doesn't make me happy, and to a lesser extent, the new Echo Show 10 with the motor in its base, so that the screen and the camera can follow you around a room. That one doesn't excite me that much either.
See, it's an interest. Here's something that people haven't really thought about, or maybe people have thought about, but maybe you're not thinking about with the Echoes. So it was my mother's birthday this week, and we got her an Echo Show.
Mm-hmm.
And normally that would be the kind of thing that I would say, oh man, do you really want to invade your privacy like that? As it is, I'm quite skeptical about the Google Assistant speakers that I have in my house that my wife wanted us to have, and I did not. But
I remember.
the thing about Echo Show is it has this drop-in feature, which actually is horrible for your privacy, because you can set a feature to just see what's going on in someone's house. I mean, with permission,
right?
With initial permission, not every time you do it. And then you can see what's going on in someone's house and check on them. But if you have an elderly relative, this might be something that you really want. So we got it for my mom because now she's living by herself. And also she still has a hard time dealing with Skype and other video chat things. And this is what makes it really easy for her to video call. So the idea of having one that follows you around the room so you can kind of continue your chat if you were doing a video chat sounds good to me. I would like to have, I mean, for one, I would like to have something like that if I was recording how-to or something. If I was in the kitchen and I was trying to record a cooking video or something, I would love it if it would accurately follow me around for that. And maybe if I was doing a stream with someone and I was walking around and trying to show them something, or I don't know, doing something while I'm cooking dinner while I'm talking to them, or whatever it is, that could be useful. I mean, I don't see how it's that much more of an invasion of your privacy than a regular Echo Show that can do the same thing just in a fixed position.
True. Yeah. The movability gives us back to a little bit of more catnip than just a regular camera, but it is fixed, which makes it far less interesting, certainly, than these flying spy drones.
I mean, what they should have, but I assume that they don't, I haven't seen the picture of this yet, is they should have a camera cover. But I don't think any Echo Show has that.
I don't think so either. But you can buy the little stick-on one. So worst case scenario, you can.
But I mean,
stick on and put it over top, which I would imagine is probably a pretty common thing with anything with a camera ever since that NSA leak came out that they were accessing webcams and smart screen cameras. I would imagine those stick-ons have become pretty popular. But yeah, I don't like the drone for sure. That makes me so uncomfortable. But obviously, it's not targeted at me. It's targeted at somebody else who's not as worried about things like that. So, whatevs, to each their own. But that will not become a part of my tech collection. I can tell you that. This week's Piltch Point with Avram Piltch is proudly powered by PureVPN, talking about privacy and security. The best way to protect your privacy online is with PureVPN. You can hide your online activities, say goodbye to regional restrictions, and improve your streaming quality. Plus, it's available for almost all of your devices, and you can get a special price and a 31-day money-back guarantee right now by going to piltchpoint.live/PureVPN. Okay. So, it's late in the year, but I believe that we've got some information possibly about Prime Day and some other stuff coming up, right, Avram?
Yes. So Prime Day, Amazon's holiday. We were just talking before about buying Amazon stuff or new Amazon products. Prime Day is coming. Prime Day is Amazon's annual annual shopping event where there's a whole lot of sales for people who are members of Amazon's Prime program, which a lot of people are. And if you're not, you can sign up for a 30-day trial if you haven't already done so recently. And normally Prime Day takes place during the summer because Amazon is looking for I'll put this in air quotes, Christmas in July type of event where they can drive up revenue at a time when people are not thinking about holiday shopping. But because of COVID-19, they did not have Prime Day in the summer, and Amazon has not officially announced when Prime Day is coming, although they've said that it's coming. And there was a leak recently that suggests very strongly that it is going to be the 13th and 14th of October, so just a couple of weeks from now. And that will mark the beginning of a really extended holiday shopping season, because by the middle of October, people are probably already thinking about major purchases for either gifts or for gifting themselves. And if they spend a lot of money in October, they may not spend it. They may not spend it in November, but Amazon is going to have this event, and it's going to mark the beginning of a huge 2-month long Black Friday shopping season. And I have an article up on Tom's Hardware about what you can expect for Prime Day, where you can actually save some money, and how this can kind of help you save money on things for the next couple of months. First of all, it's important to understand that Prime Day is not just Amazon. I mean, the official Prime Day is just Amazon. But because Amazon is having sales, there's almost no doubt that competitors to Amazon will have sales. And that means probably sales at Newegg, Dell, Lenovo. This is, of course, these are, of course, the sites that we see a lot of sales on in the tech space. Best Buy, to some extent, Walmart, if we care about. Walmart occasionally has some deals on things like laptops. What kinds of things can you get on Prime Day? Well, on Amazon, you can almost always on Prime Day get really good deals on Amazon branded products. So if you are thinking about getting an Echo of any kind, a Fire Stick of any kind, a Kindle tablet, a Fire tablet, any any Amazon branded product, probably also Ring branded products, Prime Day will be the prime time to get those things. So if you were thinking of getting one of those in the next couple of weeks, unless you're like me and you had to get it for somebody whose birthday was right now, wait 2 weeks, because the undoubtedly will be much cheaper on Prime Day. But besides those Amazon products, you can expect to see lightning deals, quick sales across the board. Now, very often you don't see the greatest tech deals on Prime Day, but occasionally you do see things. One thing that you see a ton of, you are almost certain to see some good deals on accessories around charging and on peripherals like keyboards and mice. So now some of them will be cheap keyboards and mice, not, but you will probably see some ridiculously good deals on low cost mechanical keyboards. You'll see some ridiculously good deals on laptop and phone chargers, on power banks, that sort of thing. You can guarantee you're going to see some great deals on. On storage, you will probably see some really good deals, certainly on things like flash drives and micro SD cards, but also hopefully on SSDs. Hopefully you will be able to find, and on a good day, you can sometimes find this now, a 1 terabyte SSD, a 1 terabyte SSD for under $100, 1 terabyte PCIe SSD. Or you'll be able to find one that's normally around $150 for 110 or 120, like our favorite SSD, the ADATA XPG SX8200 Pro normally is 150, and last week, actually before Prime Day, it was on sale for a while for 110. So that's a kind of deal on storage that you may see around Prime Day. Similarly, monitors are something that are always good to shop for when there are sales. As I said at the beginning of our show today, I managed to get a Lenovo 28-inch monitor, 28-inch 4K monitor, not on sale for $265. But this same monitor, when there was a Labor Day sale, the Lenovo S28U10 was $220 briefly before it sold out. So I expect that we may see some great deals from Lenovo and Dell around things like monitors, laptops, gaming desktops. Now, how do you know what you're getting actually is a good deal? Well, first of all, at Tom's Hardware, we're going to have some pages rounding up deals. But let's say you see something and you that's on sale, and you say, I don't know, is this just on? Does it just say it's on sale, or is it actually a good deal? Because particularly on Amazon, everything is always technically on sale. There's always an MSRP that has like a little cross out through it, and it makes it look like you're getting a deal, even if the price has been the same for a year. So what you want to do, and I say this every time we do buying advice, but if you haven't heard me talk about this before, for Amazon, you want to download a Chrome extension called the Camelizer from a web that's made by this website, Camel. What it will do is you will click the button in your browser when you're on the product page, and it will show you a chart of what the price of this product has been over its history. So you can see how long it's been this price, whether this price is the lowest it's ever been, etc. The other thing that you want to do is, particularly for computers and PC components, there's a wonderful site called PCPartPicker.com, and you can go to PCPartPicker.com and type in the name of a product, and I believe PC Part Picker tracks like 5 or 6 or 7 major sites like Newegg, and will tell you what the price history of the product is on those sites, so you can see if not just on Amazon or not just on whatever site you're looking at, but across the internet, is this a good deal? Because what might be the sale price on Amazon today is the regular price on Dell every day, or vice versa. So it's really important to verify what you're getting is a deal, and not just to get drawn in by the excitement. And of course, it always helps to have a plan. What are the things that you're actually looking to buy? What are the things that you need, that you want to, that you've been kind of waiting to get, and you think, hey, if I see this on a deal, on a sale, I'm gonna pull the trigger. And what are the things that you could kind of use one? I could kind of use an extra HDMI cable or something. If I see a really good deal on one, I'll get it. If not, I won't. Uh, and try to think of those things rather than just being drawn in for stuff that you don't need.
That makes sense. And like we've said it obviously many times that sometimes this is all about the hype. So don't don't get tricked into the hype. I think we accidentally did a whole segment about it a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, with all the sales coming, we've seen everybody put things on sale. At, like you said, not just Amazon, but and it's not just direct tech stuff. The stand that your screen is on here in the studio, Avram, is from Amazon Prime Day a couple of years ago. So there's all kinds of weird stuff that you can pick up on sale.
Yeah, exactly. Now it's good to have a plan. For example, I have a plan, right? So I bought this monitor recently that we've talked about, and I want to get a second one of exactly that monitor though. So if it goes on sale to $220 or less, which it was at one time before I realized I wanted to get it, then I will get a second one. If not, I will wait through the holiday season and see if it goes on sale for that price again. So that's the kind of thing, the kind of plan people should have. Hey, here's some, I'm looking for, if not this particular make and model, I'm looking for this type of product. Let me see what goes on sale during this time period.
For sure. And just because we're talking about the Camelizer, I first thing I did was I went to Amazon's website and I checked the first thing that came up, which was paper towels. And right now, it's featured on the homepage. It's big. Look at this price. It is the most expensive it has been, except for in the middle of June. This is the most expensive it's been in 2020. So just because it's featured, just because they're making a big deal about it, doesn't mean it's a good price. So there's our proof. I literally just clicked on the first thing I found on the homepage, and Camelizer was like, no, don't do it. It's a trick. So,
yep.
It's always interesting. Obviously, this will not be the only time we talk about stuff because it's that time of year. We will have some other buying guides as we get closer to the holidays and we know more about what's going on. But this is a good starting point, since we think in the next couple of weeks, certainly by the 20th, right? It seems like October 20th would be the absolute latest this could possibly happen this year, because then they're going to start getting trounced by other things.
Right. So they have to have it. They have to have it in October, and they don't want it to get too close to Thanksgiving.
Right.
So,
because then they lose control over it.
I think it's going to. Yes.
Yeah.
So, besides, they want to kind of carve out another period for that.
Exactly.
Another revenue generating period.
Because they'll have their own things then, but their branded thing gets lost in the shuffle if it's not. I had predicted on GNC Weekly 6 weeks ago, maybe, my date. I said I'm putting my money on my brother's birthday. I said the 14th, and it's looking more and more like I was right. So,
by the way, it's Prime Day is probably going to be 2 days. It's usually 2 days.
Yeah, except for that first year where it was 26 hours. It's been 2 days ever since. So, yeah, it'll probably be 13 and 14 if the rumors are correct. So, we'll have Tom's Hardware will have buying guides during that time, some deal roundups, right?
Yes. Well, we now have a bunch where we're tracking deals that are currently available,
Okay.
not because of Prime Day, just because. But we will be tracking all the Prime Day deals. It is a big deal in our company, so I will surely be not sleeping for a few days and tracking them all night.
Understood. Well, good luck on that. And
That's why I need the monitors.
there you go. And now we just got to get you to start snapping stuff so you can really take advantage of the real estate. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you for this, Avram, and I look forward to what we talk about next. This week's Extra Life in F5 Live is proudly powered by Razer. Get all the accessories you need to up your game on your PC, console, or mobile device from Razer. Whether you're looking for a gaming mouse and keyboard, like we use here in the studio, a light for your webcam to up your Twitch stream, or an entire gaming setup like the Razer Blade 15, you can find it all at Razer by going to f5live.tv/Razer. So this week was an interesting one for Microsoft. We'll start with the downs. There were some ups and there were some downs for them. First, the pre-orders for the Xbox Series S and Series X went live this week, and predictably and following the lead of the PlayStation 5 last week, there were problems, but some of them were the same. Stores crashing, our friendly shoebot trying to snipe pre-orders, just like we've seen with the PS5, with the 3080 and possibly the 3090 from NVIDIA. But there were also some unique issues, issues that I said would exist the day they announced the product's name. The Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S names are way too close to the Xbox One X and the Xbox One S. And as such, on Amazon, because sales numbers, there are some sales tracking sites, during the initial period of pre-order availability on Amazon, the sales for the Xbox One X went up almost 750%. Now, there are two possibilities here. The first is that people who were trying to pre-order the consoles got it wrong. It's possible, but the type of person who pre-orders a console like this is checking everything. They're making sure the price is right. They're making sure the listing's right. They don't want to accidentally pre-order just the box, because we've seen all of those happen on various sites over the years. So gamers tend to be very cautious before they hit go. The other possibility is that our pre-order bots got tricked by the names. And I so hope that's the case. I so hope that these people who pay, what was it, $75 a month to use this pre-order bot are going to get an Xbox One X in the mail Thursday.
My guess is that the pre-order bots are smarter than that. But
maybe.
But I guess, but we may never know, because the companies that do the bot stuff, well, they do talk, but they, I think it's interesting. People may tweet about it. We may find out if if it was the bots. I think that you are overestimating the intelligence of everybody who was shopping.
Well, yeah.
Like, there's a lot of smart people who know the difference, but there may be somebody out there who's kind of heard the hype a little bit,
Hmm.
and they don't, and maybe they're buying it for someone else. Maybe they're buying it for a friend or a kid or something like that.
Or they're
So
not,
maybe they're
or they're
not
not big
as
in the gaming
savvy.
community.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe that. So I think that there could be bot confusion, but there could also be human confusion.
Oh, there's definitely going to be
It's
human confusion.
certainly
I'm
also
hoping
consider.
that the scales tip in the direction of the bots screwing up, though. That would make me so happy.
That would be some karmic justice, wouldn't it?
It would.
It would be some karmic justice. I mean, people are really. I mean, on Tom's Hardware, obviously we do cover and care about the Xbox and the PlayStation, but our core audience are PC gamers, and obviously people are livid about the RTX 3090
Hmm.
and 3080. 3080 more so, but 3090 was this past week when it launched. So, and that was a huge bot situation, but at least NVIDIA was smart enough not to use almost the same name. We've seen tech companies do this before, and I find it frustrating every time because it's happening now with pre-orders, but don't mistake that it's also going to happen after the product is
Oh, yeah.
out and readily available, that there will be people who, under the Christmas tree or whatever, really excited because grandma got them a new console. They opened it up and it's the Xbox One X, which they already had.
Right.
So
Yeah. I think obviously in the pre-order process, there's going to be some of it, because sites crash, get slow. You have to refresh. There's not inventory. You refresh and try it again. You go back and look for the listing again. There's a lot of that, and maybe your fourth, fifth, sixth try, you screw up and hit the wrong one. There's going to be some people who are pre-ordering it who are not big gamers, but like you said, are excited by the hype. But when we get closer to Christmas, we're gonna see more of this. I think the confusion is really gonna kick in because, like I said, the kind of person who's out there actively pre-ordering is likely, statistically, more likely to be more active in the gaming community than, like you said, grandma who might buy it in December and have no idea what she's purchasing. So while it was a problem now, I think we're going to see it become an even bigger problem over the next 2 months as we lead to the end of the year.
Also, I would not be at all surprised if shopping searches like Google Shopping conflated the two at various times.
Yeah.
Because I have many times searched for a specific model of something,
Mm-hmm.
and and unless you're really careful, you may get a result that's a different model, and then when you click through, you realize, if you read, oh yeah, this is actually the other one, right?
Very
Like,
true.
I was doing all this monitor shopping the last few weeks, and I would find a specific model number and I'd look for it in Google Shopping, and it would give me like not quite that model, right?
Yep.
If the model I was looking for was like the UK 500, it would give me like the UL 500.
Yep.
Sometimes.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
Or a mix of both. And so when you have two names that are this close together, I think it's quite easy for them to get conflated in Google search.
Right. Which is why I'm also hoping that the other bots got it wrong too.
Yeah.
That's why I'm hoping, because bots have proven to us that similarly named or similarly skewed products can get confused. So that's fingers crossed. That's why I'm hoping that's what happened here for the larger majority. I'm hoping the scales tip that side. But like you said, we'll probably never know. But, you know, it's fun to dream. On the other side of the world, though, on the good side, Microsoft, potentially good side. Good side for Microsoft for sure. Microsoft announced that they have purchased ZeniMax Media, which most importantly owns Bethesda, for $7.5 billion. That's a lot of money. So while that's a lot of money, it's important to remember that that Bethesda is responsible for Fallout, Elder Scrolls, Doom, Quake, Wolfenstein. Those are all now owned by Microsoft because Bethesda and its sister studios are officially now all part of Xbox Game Studios. What does that mean? Anything that's in the wild is what it is. Any existing announcements, they are what they are. So you're not going to see Skyrim disappear from the Switch. And in fact, when you take a look at Microsoft's behavior over the last couple of years under Nadella, the we want to be where people are, you know, the Little Mermaid philosophy of Microsoft, has ended up with, after they purchased Minecraft, the cross-platform capabilities actually expanded under Microsoft. So it would not be a surprise to see Bethesda games in the future show up on PlayStation, on Switch, just as they always have, possibly time delayed with Xbox and PC having a short-term exclusivity. And Phil Spencer has said exactly that. They'll take each future game release one at a time and make a decision on how it will release. But because they are first-party titles now, they will be part of Xbox Game Pass. So for your $10 or $15 Game Pass subscription, or Ultimate for $25, you now have, well, not now, but in the very near future, we'll have all Bethesda titles. So all of Fallout, all of Elder Scrolls, all of Doom, all of Quake, all of Wolfenstein, anything that's available on PC or console will come to Game Pass. And Bethesda has confirmed that as the plan for their games. That is a big deal for Game Pass subscribers.
Wow. Well, this is a big move forward for Microsoft, obviously becoming an even bigger first-party publisher.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of the complaints that people had coming into this generation of consoles was, you know, PS5 versus Xbox Series. God, such a terrible name. The Xbox Series X/S exclusivities, and so much, you know, PlayStation has so many first-party titles, and Microsoft doesn't have quite that. Well, looks like Microsoft's working to change that perception right here and right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're certainly expanding. If we ever had a doubt about Microsoft's commitment to being in the consumer game space, even though they seem to have bailed on the streaming space, they showed that commitment by buying ZeniMax now.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, as a Game Pass subscriber myself, I am excited about some of the Bethesda games coming to Game Pass. The first one that is not already there, because some games are already there, because Microsoft and Bethesda have had a strong relationship for a long time. In fact, if you go back, there was an article that came out this week that was fascinating, that on the original Xbox there was a bit of a memory leak problem, and but there was an unknown, like unpublished trick that you could put up a screen and then reboot the console without anybody knowing. And so Microsoft shared that with Bethesda. And so I don't remember which one of their games, but it would reboot when the memory started to become a problem. It would put up what looked like a loading screen and then reboot the console underneath you and then pick up the game where you left off. Fascinating. So the relationship has been there a long time. There's already Bethesda games on Game Pass, but the first new one that will be hitting is Doom Eternal, which is coming on October 1st. And then the follow-up, Doom Eternal, The Ancient Gods Part 1, will be coming to the Xbox Store and theoretically Game Pass as well on the 20th. So October is going to be, looks like it's going to be a big deal for Game Pass with Bethesda games coming, with game streaming probably coming out of beta into the Android app, and with this change with Apple possibly seeing the game streaming coming to iPhone. Game Pass is about to become a big deal for a lot of reasons, and I think Bethesda is a big part of it. As a subscriber, I'm looking forward to it. This week's news from the tubes and F5 Live is proudly powered by RiffTrax. Make fun of movies, but let these guys do it for you. Mike Nelson, Bill Corbett, and Kevin Murphy, the former stars of Mystery Science Theater 3000, are back and doing what they do best: creating commentaries for Hollywood blockbusters and B-movie oddities. It's like watching a movie with your funniest friends. And you can find out about all of the full-length features, short films, TV episodes, and live events, all by going to f5live.tv/rifftracks with an X. So, Avram knows about this. Oh, thunder. Avram can speak to some of this himself. Google has been putting some limits on Chrome extensions over the last couple of years. First, we saw the extreme expansion of Chrome extensions, which were the Chrome web apps, nixed entirely a while back. Then Google started to put content moderation restrictions on, complaining to developers about the permissions they were asking for. Why does your extension need access to the page? Why does, all kinds of stuff like that. Then they started to apply those restrictions, Avram, to private undistributed apps, which has caused poor Avram no end of pain. If you're just listening, the look on his face and the shake of his head. Intense. It has caused all kinds of trouble because now, even if you're privately distributing it just to a small group of people, like Avram does with his colleagues for work, Google wants to know why, which is obviously odd. But this week
they should have a drone to fly around my house.
So they can find out why you're asking for those permissions.
Yeah. Yes.
This week, they have added a new wrinkle to the extension store, and that is that they are getting rid of the payment system. So if it is not a free extension, oh well, it's going to go away because you will not be able to process payments in the Chrome extension store through the Chrome Web Store. And for the most part, that's not going to be a huge problem. But it does show that Google is changing their focus on extensions because we keep seeing their focus, pull in a little bit. Yes, sure. For the most part, increased security makes sense. On undistributed apps, not so much. It's just a bizarre thing that's happening, and I don't quite get exactly what's going on there and why they would continue to try and limit the scope of what Chrome does.
So it's an embarrassment. I mean, in one respect, it's an embarrassment prevention effort. Anytime somebody finds a piece of malware in one of the stores, there'll be a story about how there's malware in the
Mm-hmm.
store, and then it'll hurt their reputation. So they would rather take the opposite approach and take it out on developers and make life harder for developers because because they don't want to get the bad press. Apple has been kind of the same way, but for a while Google was a lot easier to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for years, I've been doing Chrome extensions for years.
Mm-hmm.
For years, I was able to put Chrome extensions through, as unlisted, and then send the link out to people that I wanted to have it, and it went through no scrutiny at all. Within a few minutes, 5 minutes, if I was within 5 minutes, new extension, maybe an hour, a new extension would be published. And if I made an update to an existing one, maybe it would take, 20 minutes to refresh. Now, I can't realistically update any of the extensions that I have because I've had them be rejected when I changed one line of code from what was accepted. And I've had it where I basically resubmitted it, or I sent a complaint or something about the rejection, and then they let it in. But it's too much stress, and that's for the unlisted ones.
Mm-hmm.
I had a public Chrome extension, which I stopped working on a while back because some features changed in Chrome, and it just seemed like it wasn't absolutely necessary to have anymore. Although I still think like there might be a good reason to have. So I had an extension for those of you not follow every aspect of my life and career. I had an extension, but I'm sure most of you have, called Silent Sight. And what Silent Sight did was it was like a firewall for audio in your browser. So when you went to a site, if it started playing audio, it would pop up a little dialog box that said, "Do you want to allow this site to play audio?" before it actually let the audio through. And you could whitelist a site. You could block all sites. You could block just that site. Or you could just let it play this one time. You had some choices. Then a couple of years ago, Google added that sort of its own whitelist for audio, or its own like mute. Actually, it was more of a negation list. Like it
Mm-hmm.
lets you right click on a tab and do mute site. And so when they added that, I thought, I don't know if I should keep maintaining this extension because it looks like Chrome is sort of building this in. But what Chrome doesn't do that mine did do was it doesn't assume that you don't want audio and
Right.
then give you a pop-up. Um, so probably if I had time and inclination, what I should have done was try to figure out if there's a way to make it sort of work with Google's own mute list rather than because I had it maintaining my own
Right.
database. But anyway, I had that on there for the Silent Sign on there for many years. It had 13,000 users, and a few weeks ago they sent me a thing saying your extension is no longer now violates our security. You've got like a week or 2 weeks or something to fix it to our satisfaction, or we're going to pull it from the store. And I let them pull it from the store because it wasn't worth it to me.
Sure.
But I'm sure there's a lot of extensions being pulled from the store, and it's really frustrating. And it's to the point now. There is sort of a workaround that I found for privately distributing extensions, but it only works if you have Google Apps for your domain and you only want to give it to people within your organization. So now I have versions of our Chrome extensions. The Chrome extensions, I'm moving them to like a private label, I guess, store. So, but only people who work for the company can access them. So if we have a freelancer or a contractor or something like that who we want to give it to,
They're
I
out of luck.
can't. And that's why it's frustrating, and why I liked using the general store and marking things as private or unlisted. But anyway, it's annoying. I don't know how many people were actually charging money for their Chrome extensions,
Right.
but it's yet another slap in the face to developers, and so it shows a pattern that
Who had used
Google doesn't
who?
want their developers to be to get anything out of this.
Yeah, it's a slap in the face to developers who had leaned into and relied on an ecosystem that is slowly being pulled apart, one plank at a time. You know, the ground is shifting out from under them, and it's unfortunate. But fortunately, like you said, a lot of the companies that do charge for their extension stopped using Google because I think they saw the writing on the wall a while ago. And so you download the free extension and you sign in. Like Grammarly is a great example, right? Some of what Grammarly does is free, but a lot of what it does is behind a paywall. And so a lot of the extensions have started to go that direction, which makes sense, especially if you had any inclination that this was coming, to move payment into your own thing. But you weren't going to be able to do that if you wanted to charge for your thing, Avram, right? Trying to build your own payment system behind the scenes as somebody who's messing around and just, you weren't going to be able to do that.
I mean, it's frustrating. So I think this is, another kind of nail in the coffin of independent developers developing extensions. Like, it also makes you wonder, like, are they just going to at some point start like getting rid of, I mean, it's hard to imagine them getting rid of extensions altogether, but wow, they're making it really difficult, really difficult on people. And for what, extensions are part of is part of why Chrome is so successful, right? People know that, wow, they're all, I mean, obviously I'm kind of extension junkie. Besides the ones that I myself have made, I probably have like 10 extensions running right now in my Chrome browser. And it's just absolutely lame that they make it so hard on developers.
Agreed. Yeah, it's a shame. It'll be interesting to see what the full response is to this, because it was a pretty late in the week move. So we'll probably hear by next week, who is affected by this and how they're going to try and overcome it, whether apps will disappear or whether things will move the way Grammarly did already long ago. But it's definitely an interesting move, and it seems like the kind of thing maybe like what we see with restaurants, right? A restaurant sees customers drop a little bit, and so they raise their prices to try to make up for it. That makes more customers leave, so they raise their prices to try and make up for it, and it creates this downward spiral that's difficult to get out of, and eventually they either sell the business or go away. It feels a little bit like we've got some of that going on here, but from developers. Because all these things affect developers way more than they affect the end users. Obviously, it affects the end users, but they don't necessarily know. So you see developers start backing out of spending their time on it. And so, like, oh, well, less people are listing paid apps. Maybe we should stop maintaining the payment system. So you end up in this spiral. So it obviously, Avram and I both have a vested interest here. We both have Chrome extensions involved in our daily lives. So we will be keeping an eye on this, because it is a story that affects us directly and annoys us on a fairly regular basis. This week's DRM Not Included and F5 Live is proudly powered by Amazon Prime. You know you get free shipping, and we've got Prime Day coming up, but for your subscription, you also get free music with Amazon Prime Music, free TV, movies, and documentaries with Amazon Prime Video, free games, and a free subscription to Twitch with Amazon Prime Gaming, and a whole lot more. You can learn more, get a 30-day free trial if you're not already subscribed, purchase it as a gift, and get quick links to all of these features and more by going to f5live.tv/prime. Speaking of things that we have a vested interest in, podcasting has obviously taken off hugely in the last couple of years. When F5 Live got its start several names and 13 plus years ago, it was a pretty niche market. But today, especially with the lockdown, the industry has seen some fascinating changes. We've seen investment and focus from companies. Apple changed its focus and pulled podcasts out to its own app. Google did the same. While Google, oh my God, what was it called? Google Play Music Podcasts, the worst name of all time. It thankfully went away and was replaced with Google Podcast, which was a good focus. TuneIn Radio, everybody's gotten involved in it. And recently, Spotify has been putting not just a lot of focus, but a lot of money behind podcasting. Not only did they add audio podcasts and soon to be video podcasts, thankfully, to their catalog, they also got into the production side of things. So they purchased Anchor, which is a second tier hosting and creation platform, but it's popular for people just getting started or who are doing it just to screw around. So they purchased that, which gave them a pipeline into their system. They have also actually purchased shows. They have a ton now of, you can't really call them podcasts because they don't work on the standard, but audio dramas and shows. The Joe Rogan Experience is a great example of Spotify spending a ton of money to get an exclusive show that a large portion of the podcast community listens to. And this week, through a report from Deadline, we know that Spotify has now signed a contract to start turning some of their exclusive audio dramas into video content. What does that mean? We don't exactly know because the report is a report. It's not a full announcement from Spotify, but we know that Chernin Entertainment has signed a contract with Spotify to turn audio dramas into video content. It could be video podcasts. It could be, high-produced video podcasts. It could be TV shows. It could be movies. There could be a lot of possibilities to what they have planned here. But they have apparently already chosen two shows, Blackout and The Clearing, to be part of this, with Rami Malek from Mr. Robot starring in one of them. So they're definitely putting a lot of money into it. Audio dramas are a bit of a niche within the niche. There's a lot of interview shows. There's a lot of talk shows like what we do and how-to type things. But audio dramas are, in quantity, certainly a niche, but in listenership have gone up a lot as there's been no TV or movies, new scripted episodes for so long now. The lockdown has seen a huge spike in listening to audio dramas, which I enjoy because, the old Dick Tracy audio dramas in the 20s and 30s on the radio were a ton of fun to listen to. And now we've got a modern version of it, but can that be turned into video or does it lose its charm? What do you think, Avram?
If it's video, is it an audio drama anymore? I don't know.
No.
It's interesting. What I have been really wanting to listen to, but I don't think you can get these on Spotify because you have to pay good money for them, is Big Finish. Big Finish has all audio dramas that they do where they get people to like do like lost episodes of Doctor Who or something, or they get someone who used to play Doctor Who like 20 years ago, and maybe they're too old to or not up for actually, acting, in front of the camera, but but it's relatively inexpensive to get them to do and simple to get them to do an audio drama. So they get some really interesting audio dramas, and I think that kind of thing is really interesting. I'd like to put more time into it. I think I'm listening to less stuff since I've been in quarantine than I was listening to before, because I used to listen to things on the way to and from work all the time.
Yes.
And now I'm kind of here, and kids are coming in and out. I'm having video meetings and stuff, and I'm just not. Making listening to things like I was.
Yeah.
Like I was.
And interestingly, we've seen this watching the podcast communities that I'm part of. We've seen this interesting gap in listenership changes. Shows that are interview style, short form interview style, seem to have seen a huge decline in listenership since the lockdown started. But shows like ours, long form things or audio dramas, seem to be seeing an increase as people are sitting at their desk listening to things in the background. So we've seen an increase since the lockdown, both audio and video. But I know a lot of interview style shows have seen huge decreases based on what we're hearing. So it makes sense that Spotify sees this increase and wants to try and move on it. But I think what they're missing is the reason why the audio dramas are seeing increases, and it's because there isn't new scripted TV and movie dramas hitting right now, because all production was shut down. And so the best we've seen has been some table reads for next season come on Hulu and things like that, or the 30 Rock special, or the Parks and Rec special, things like that early on. But there's been no produced stuff since. And so people, I think, have been leaning onto audio dramas to fill it. So adapting that to film or TV might work, but they might have missed why people are attached to it right now. I don't know.
I mean, if they can do a drama that happens over Zoom or something, that
like that,
or over video call.
Yes, the new NBC series Connected, which is exactly that.
I haven't heard of it, but
I think that's what it's called.
I could see people looking for things like that. So it, yeah, I can see something like that working. But I mean, yeah, people want to listen to things in the background. I mean, I guess people can watch things too, but I mean, yeah, I think one of the things that is industries that has to be suffering the most, although there's so many, is recorded entertainment, because it's still really dicey for productions to resume. Although I think there have been some.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was the Batman, which resumed for like a week, and then Robert Pattinson got COVID, so that I think that shut down again.
That seems likely.
But I remember I heard the other day that not that I watched the show, but Fargo, the Fargo show, they had Chris Rock was on somewhere saying that he had finished the show in August, like they had resumed some filming in August to finish a season. Mm-hmm. So it sounds like at least some production has resumed somewhere.
Yeah.
but
And
it's a dicey proposition.
it sure is. We've seen some reality type series start production again because they can be done, minimally, right? You can the Masked Singer, for example, that is masked by nature first, and second, they've dumped the studio audience, and so there's a total of 8 people in the room. So that makes, and they're all pretty far apart. So that makes doing a show like that, or Dancing with the Stars, which I think has started production again, because I know Carol Baskin's been on, which is fascinating. It does seem like a lot of stuff is still shut down. Some shows at the end of last season got screwed out of episodes. The Blacklist. Oh, the season finale, the Blacklist was terrible because of that weird, horrifying animation they did. What was the other one? Blind Spot lost 2 episodes in their final season because of it. And, we're not too much further into getting new content, because even if things have just started back into production, now is when new seasons should have started. And we're not getting anything.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a continued interest in these audio dramas for now, but can Spotify successfully license these for adaptations into video for TV or movies or whatever? I don't know. But obviously, we will be able to find out eventually, as 2 of them are already heading that direction, and this contract is for more than just 2. It'll be interesting to see what happens over time. And that is our show. Thank you to those of you who joined us live. We always appreciate it. If you didn't and would like to in the future, you can go to f5live.tv/join us on Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. Chat with us in the studio. Give us your feedback. If you can't join us live, that's okay too. You can go to PLUGHITZlive.com/subscribe, and there you'll see all of the ways to subscribe to all of our shows, whether it be audio, video, through Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you are. We've got links for everything there. That is, with everything, like we said, with everything shut down, there's not a whole lot coming up right now as far as activities are concerned, so there's not a whole lot for us to announce. And so with that, on behalf of the staff that's not here, I'm Scott.
I'm Avram.
And we will see you guys back next time. Ciao.